I'm gonna drive down to Germany.
So, hello. Yeah, it's been a while. So, around the time that I disappeared, I went to Scotland to see two adult men kiss each other in front of a crowd. And while I was there, I picked up a few things. I went to the sex shop. The locals on the British Isles will insist that you call it kegs, but it is the sex shop. It is a shop that makes you feel things in your loins, like sex. And I went there and I bought some things, and I'm gonna tell you about these things that I bought, and I'm gonna recommend some of them, and some of them I'm not gonna recommend. So let's see what I bought at the sex shop. Oh yeah. So I got this one for like really fucking cheap, as you can see. What did I get this one? I can't remember if this was actually just a gift. But yeah, the original Splinter Cell. I'm a huge Splinter Cell fan, especially Pandora Tomorrow, which I used to play at a semi-professional level. And at one point I was like ranked 34th in all of Europe. Just like with Fortnite and other esports, there were seasons, so it would reset every once in a while. They have this brilliant mode called Mercs vs Spies, where you play in a level, and it's usually 2v2, it depends on which version of the game you're playing. And one team will be the mercenaries, and it will be their objective to protect some objectives. And it will be the objective of the spies to sabotage that objective. And the cool thing is that the mercs are playing from a first-person perspective and have an assault rifle usually, and some other little gadgets. And the spies will play from a third-person perspective and will like sneak around and have some gadgets and no offensive weapons, usually, depending on which game. I've been a huge fan of the series in general. I got into one day when my internet was down while playing Pandora Tomorrow online. I started playing the single player campaign and I got super into it, and I remember me and my brother just like sitting an entire fucking day in front of the TV, just like playing Pandora Tomorrow single player. And it was one of those games where we had played the first level, but we were children and we were stupid, so we didn't really know how to play. So we had played the first level a bunch of times and gotten stuck in that. And it was like... And we had like one of those moments, you probably know exactly what I mean, where you like finally figure out how to progress in a game that you were stuck in as a kid. And I don't know, it's just something magical about like finally opening that like magical portal into what this game is all about, what this game is like actually all about. Because the first level is this, it's a set piece, right? And it is a very cool set piece. But it's very handholdy and you don't really get to properly play the game. You get to tutorialize a few things here and there. But the rest of the game, that is when, the actual fucking game happens. And there's this story with this, like, dude that's like, Sam Fisher, you need to do as I say. And there's, like, betrayals and all that kind of stuff. And I played Pandora Tomorrow. I skipped Chaos Theory, which apparently was a huge mistake because that's the best one. Then I played Double Agent, which is the like super divisive one. And then I played Conviction, which is the action one, which is like super fucking cool. And I really like loved going through the story because it really felt like something out of like Bourne Conspiracy or like James Bond, but you were playing through it in a video game. But I never played the first one, and I have no idea if it's good or not. I always want to play the first one because all of the sequels, they make references to things that happened in the first one, and I just never have gotten into it. So yeah, I'm gonna try that. This is apparently like a special version that has 4 new levels and 30 minutes of never seen before cinematics, and a new intro. So, cool, yes. Looking forward to playing this one. Oh yes, this one. Oh yeah, I remember, Summer Sport Pack. I think this was also maybe a gift, actually. I don't think I got this one. I don't think... Yeah, I don't think I bought this one at the sex shop in Edinburgh. Yeah, people know that I am a disgusting pervert and that I love disgusting pervert shit. And yeah, this is a game just for me because like there are boobies on the cover. It is apparently sort of like a Wii Sports for perverts. There is beach volleyball, beach soccer, football, bodyboarding, and the scooter challenge. It was developed by studios you've never heard of and published by a publisher that is of course now super defunct.
The graphics on this are pretty immaculate. Go on, we need out of time.
Yeah, so if you don't know, sometime before the movie, there were the rights to the Lord of the Rings franchise. The video games got bought up, and like the way it worked out was that they didn't actually expire until I think like just before the second movie came out. So EA, which actually made some fantastic games about the Two Towers and Return of the King, they didn't make a game for the first Lord of the Rings. Another company did that. And they did it as a cheap... It wasn't actually a tie-in to the movie like the number 2 and number 3 are. Because like the developer that had the rights to making games to Lord of the Rings didn't have the rights to make movie games for Lord of the Rings, and EA didn't have the rights to make games yet. They only got that, as I said, later. And one of the other games that was also made was The Hobbit, which also like EA didn't have the rights to, so it was made by Sierra Entertainment, who apparently, I think, got the rights to make Hobbit games back on the Super Nintendo, maybe? And they, of course, saw that the Lord of the Rings was gonna be, like, super popular when the movies came out. Because, like, before it was a book series that everyone knew about, but that not a whole lot of people read. But after the movies came out, ho ho ho, yeah, baby! So they, of course, wanted to capitalize on someone else's success by making a Hobbit game. And it is terrible. It is a sort of like a stealth game. It's a bad Splinter Cell, actually. Yeah, I don't know how what to really say about it. It's the story of the Hobbit. I'm not even sure that it goes through the entire game, actually. I think it like stops at some point in the story because there was maybe gonna be a follow-up. But yeah, it's mostly a stealth game because hobbits can't fight. For whatever reason, the developer that made this decided to be faithful to the source material, so there's not a whole lot of hobbit fighting. You are just sneaking around. And it's one of those like extremely shitty stealth systems like in Vampire Reign, where it's not really about using the stealth mechanics, it's about following an invisible path that the game has laid out, that you can only find via trial and error, because like you just need to go a very specific way and then you'll make it through a level. The mechanics, you don't really need to learn the mechanics, you just need to learn where to apply certain things. I can't remember why I bought it, but I definitely would not recommend it. It is very bad. It's not even funny bad, because you can't get very far in it. I guess I just wanted it because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I thought I needed it in my collection. Also, because when I was a kid, I saw it in one of those like little booklets. I wonder if it has one. No, it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, I saw it in one of those like little booklets that you got with Xbox games. And I thought it looked cool, also because I really loved the first Lord of the Rings video game, which wasn't made by EA. That one is like super great because it also like includes stuff from the books, because they had to like differentiate it and also didn't know what was going to be in the movie. So also Tom Bombadil, a character that doesn't appear in the movie, appears in the game, and the game is actually like really cool and has like cool mechanics with the ring, and you get to play as Aragorn and Frodo and Gandalf. And each has a bit of a different playing style. Gandalf runs through some puzzles, Aragorn has more of like traditional hack and slash combat, and Frodo has a little bit of the stealthy elements. Yeah, it's a very cool game. I should maybe review that someday. I actually think I have it.
No, I do not. Huh.
I should get it though. Yeah, that's gonna be a collecting goal for the future then. Because yeah, I definitely need that because I really want to replay it. I really loved it as a kid. And I think it has a lot of like secret hidden stuff in it because even though it was like made to, you know, leech off of someone else's success, the people that made it clearly like loved the source material because they knew it better than EA did for sure. And we have Rainbow Six Vegas 2. This is a brilliant game. It is very ahead of its time. It's even ahead of its like own franchise for some reason. Because what this game does is that it has online play and it has co-op play and also has like general multiplayer play. And each time you play through a level or a match or whatever, you get experience points. And you can use those experience points to buy equipment. So you can like level up and all that stuff, and you can get cooler and cooler equipment, and it's very fun. It has like a neat co-op campaign where you're chasing terrorists in Las Vegas, and it is quite a bit more action heavy than the previous Rainbow Sixes, which would be where the direction that the series would go from then on. And yeah, it is pretty fucking awesome, and I definitely recommend it. Like, just play through the co-op campaign. If you ever like played the SWAT games and you wanted something that is a bit more faster paced, this is it. And we have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This is the first Harry Potter game, I believe. And yeah, it's extremely awesome. No, this is the second Harry Potter game. Yeah, the first one is called the Philosopher's Stone, I think. What is extremely cool about the first three Harry Potter games is that they are these like open world, sort of like Harry Potter GTA clones a little bit, with some RPG elements. You run around Hogwarts in fully realized 3D, and you like attend classes, and there are like side quests and missions, and it's very magical. Like, sure thing, J.K. Rowling, she sucks ass. Oh yeah, she definitely does. But yeah, and like the books are kind of bad and the movies are kind of bad, but there was something magical about like being a little boy and going into this world and being a magical little boy and doing like magical little boy things. I really loved it back then, and I only got to play like one of them. And I've made it a goal to collect all of them and play through them at some point and like really try and like look at them with a more critical eye than when I was a little boy, and maybe see if they still hold up or not. They probably don't. So I was actually like super hyped to get the fourth one in the series back when they were new, but that one is a completely different game. And it's not a hack and slash because you're not hacking and slashing. It's wand and bash, I guess. It's a bit more of a top-down thing. It's a co-op game, and you're all on the same screen at the same time, and you're making your way through these levels, sort of like a, I don't know, maybe pseudo-Diablo style gameplay. It's not very engaging, it's not very magical, and it's level-based, and it's not open world, and it's just not very fun. And last but not least, we have Time Splitter's Future Perfect. So, before I got a Splinter Cell game that I didn't have as a kid, and this time I got a Time Splitters game that I also didn't have as a kid. Yeah, both of these were, both this and the Splinter Cell game were games that I didn't have as a kid, but I had the sequels to, or prequels in this case, to. And just like how I skipped Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which is apparently like the best one, I also skipped the third Time Splitters game, which is apparently also the best one. Yeah, I love these games. They recently made the second one available on modern Xboxes, I think. And also, inside Homefront, the game Homefront. Do I have Homefront? Okay, so apparently I don't have Homefront. I don't know when I decided to develop Taste, but it was apparently before I started this collection. Anyways, inside the game Homefront, or maybe it's the sequel to Homefront, there is a fully fledged port of the second Time Splitters game, and that has been ported to PC by fans, which is like super awesome because it never got officially released on PC, I don't think. So yeah, that's awesome, and I've been playing Time Splitters 2 a lot because it has like a lot of brilliant modes. The cool thing about like Time Splitters is that you play as this guy, right? And has to like set some timelines in order, because there are like evil alien guys that are fucking up the timelines. So you go into all of these different time periods, and you inhabit the bodies of random ass strangers that were around in these time periods, and you make your way through levels using the weapons from this time period, and you complete like missions to stop the aliens. Yeah, so it's very cool. So you get to use all kinds of like different weaponry, and you go to a bunch of like exotic locations. My favorite one is Neo Tokyo from the second game, and you also play through a bunch of like different gameplay styles. Like there are wave defense, zombie modes, stealth modes, James Bond-esque missions where you need to like infiltrate like Soviet Russia during the 80s and stuff. It's super fucking awesome. And this is apparently better than the one I've played, because it just like, yeah, it came out a few years after, and they just perfected a lot of the things that made the second one good. And it also has, and one of the things that like really makes the second one magical is that it of course has multiplayer mode and co-op mode, and it has a bunch of these like challenge modes where you need to do like specific little things in little custom levels, and there's also like a level editor. I think there's just a bunch of it's just one of those games that like it's the full package, you know. It's a full package game where you could just like spend hundreds of hours playing it because you like want to do these challenges, and because like the thing about these challenges is that you can complete them, then you can get bronze in them, or you can get silver, or you can get the gold. And it's of course you need to get the gold in every one of the challenges because that's fucking cool. So yeah, looking very much forward to playing this one, because then I'll have more challenges to complete. Oh, there's a little kitty cat in the yard. Huh. Anyways, so yeah, that was a few things I picked up in Edinburgh in Scotland when I went up there to see two adult men kiss each other in front of a crowd. They got married, of course, that was why I was there. Yeah, so and also while I was up there, I climbed a mountain, and it was pretty cool because it's the highest point in all of the British Isles. And I was like super nervous. It was a terrible time going up there because it's Scotland. The weather in Scotland, it's very unpredictable. It will always rain a little bit during a day, and it also did while I was there. But yeah, the mountain is called Ben Nevis. It's up in the Scottish Highlands, and I've been around like the globe, right? I haven't been a whole lot of places, but I've seen 3 continents, and I thought that Scandinavia was the most beautiful place on the planet well, at least that I had seen. And I learned that it was the most beautiful place that I had seen until I saw the Scottish Highlands, because there was just something magical about that. If you've played Skyrim, which I definitely have over there, you know that region that you come to Whiterun, and you go run around that like area with the area around Whiterun. That is literally what it looks like up there. It is amazing. And also because like you always have like a few clouds and such and bad weather. So when the sun finally like shines through just a little bit and you see that like ray of sunlight just like pouncing through a valley, then you're just like, oh. So yeah, I went up there, and I did it like in late October because like the guys that were getting married in late October. So it was gonna be like a week until the mountain shut down for the season, and you weren't allowed to get up there. And I had seen on the weather forecast that the mountain was gonna shut down at 12. So I had to get up early in Edinburgh and like drive, I don't know, 2-3 hours up to the mountain. I had to get like I had to do it super early so that I would start summiting the mountain before they closed it down, which I did. And I fully understand why they closed it down when they finally did, because like I just saw this storm roll in. I saw the storm physically move towards my face while I was like climbing up the mountain, because I was like almost up to the top around 12 when the mountain was gonna shut down. And then I just got hit with a wall of water, and I was just instantly completely drenched, and like water just started pouring down the mountain. So I climbed like the final steps up, and this is the odd thing about this mountain, because it's flat on the top, so you climb and you climb and climb, and then you get like to almost the top, but then you have like a 15-minute walk to the actual like toppy top. And yeah, and I don't know, I was doing that, I was walking through a bunch of fog while there, because like that was what the storm had brought in. So by the time that I was up on the mountain was like fairly desolate, because like a lot of people had given up, and a lot of people weren't allowed to go up because the mountain had shut down. And after I was done at the top, I started making my way down. There was just like water everywhere, just water pouring down, and I couldn't really understand why, but then I finally understood why. It's because a mountain is rocky, so it doesn't absorb any water. Any water that hits the mountain, it must run off the mountain. So there was these like rivers that were created, these like waterfalls all of a sudden. So going down was much more difficult than going up. It was like quite a journey. And it was like super dangerous. Like there were trails coming down that got like shut down because like some of them had like washed away. It had apparently been a while since there had been like a real like rainstorm. So the ground was like not used to it or whatever. So it was super gnarly. And I got down and I checked like the time for how long it takes to summit the mountain. And I was like, holy fucking shit. I was not in shape at this time. I'm still not in shape. I'm still a little bit fat. But like, I thought I was gonna have a terrible time. And I did want to give up when that like rain thing hit me. And I thought I was gonna be like super slow and do it like terribly. But apparently not, because it's supposed to take 9 hours to go up and go down. And it took me a little under 5 hours. So I did it like very nicely. And I just had this like fucking victory rush as I was driving back to Edinburgh to meet some friends for dinner. That was very cool. I actually have more games over there from other trips that I've taken and never gotten around to playing, and never gotten around to even like look at, and definitely never gotten around to making videos about, but I'm gonna rectify that. And I hope I'll see you back there for that and other different adventures. We're gonna do more interesting stuff. We're gonna do some more hardware stuff. We're gonna make dumbass machines. I still have a car seat that I pulled out of an old BMW that I'm gonna turn into like a racing rig thing for racing. And that's gonna be great. And I have like some old computers upstairs, and it's all gonna be cool. I just need time to do it. And I'm gonna make some easy videos just to begin with. And of course, like the other channels that I have, they're not going anywhere. I'm also gonna be doing stuff on that. So if you like hearing about old ass Japanese horror games that never left Japan, go over on the main Randolph channel. I will be doing like these condensed playthroughs of those kinds of games. Currently I'm doing Moonlight Syndrome, which is a Suda 51 classic, and I'll also be analyzing that at some point. And on the old horror channel that went down, which I haven't renamed yet, I'm gonna be releasing a 31-part documentary in October about the origin of survival horror games, because there are 31 interesting games that came out before Resident Evil that are worth talking about, because a lot of them either directly or indirectly inspired Resident Evil, and their story is much, much older than you think. Like, my mother is 54 years old, and she was barely alive when the first horror game came out. And you know what? No one knows that there are horror games from the 70s, and that is a fucking crime. And I'm gonna rectify that, because people are fucking stupid. So yeah. If some of these things sound cool to you, go subscribe to them. If all of them sound cool, go subscribe to all of them. I will maintain 3, 4, 5 channels, you know, however many I feel like, and I'll be posting videos on them like, I don't know, once a month probably. And you can subscribe to the ones that interest you, and you can unsubscribe to the ones that don't. There's gonna be horror games, there's gonna be RPG games, there's gonna be dumbass collecting and hardware stuff. And there's also gonna be some real life travel stuff at some point, which is gonna be cool. And there's gonna be maybe some true crime horror stuff. I'm also thinking about making a channel that's just like spotlights Scandinavian cinema, because like there are lots of awesome Scandinavian movies that never really left Scandinavia and don't really get talked about a whole lot, even though they are like super influential and that a lot of directors have seen them. But I'm not sure about that one. Maybe I just also want to enjoy some things for myself. We'll see. Anyways, leave me a comment down below letting me know how you've been. I hope you've been good, but if you haven't been good, then let me know. And you have been good, then let me know what you're up to. Yeah, I'll hope to see you out there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.